Welcome to the series The Secrets of the Greatest Writers and Screenwriters videos sponsored by OGMAI Narrative Studio. You will learn how to build fascinating stories that hold up with lively characters, a clear plot, rising tension, and an ending that leaves a mark. Each episode provides you with simple guidelines, concrete examples, and a method you can apply right away, regardless of your format: novel, screenplay, webtoon, podcast, narrative game. And above all, you will understand why OGMAI makes all of this easy. You're not here to memorize theories or learn structures by heart. OGMAI guides you step by step. The application transforms your story into visual maps, helps you organize your ideas, connect the elements, maintain coherence, and instantly see what's missing or what can be strengthened. As you work, OGMAI offers you insights, improvements, alternatives, formulations, and stronger ways to connect your scenes. You move forward with a co-pilot who clarifies, structures, and advises, while keeping your style and intention at the center. You arrive with a spark. You leave with a constructed, readable story ready to captivate. But without further ado, let's start with, why isn't your story taking off?
Most failed stories don't fail due to a lack of imagination. They fail due to a lack of clear forces. A story that works is one where something pushes, something blocks, and something transforms. If you have a good idea but the audience loses interest, check these 3 points. First point, the lack is vague. Your hero wants something, but the cost isn't felt. A good story begins when a lack becomes impossible to ignore. Second point, the opposition is weak. Without real adversity, there is no tension. The antagonist isn't necessarily a villain. It can be a law, a fear, a system, a forbidden love, an impossible promise. Third point, the transformation isn't promised. The audience follows a metamorphosis. Even in a thriller, a comedy, or a fantasy, we want to see someone change, gain courage, lose an illusion, embrace a truth. That's where archetypes become useful. An archetype is not a cliche, it's a dramatic function. The hero carries the lack, the shadow carries the pressure, the mentor triggers a shift, allies and traitors create turns. And when you combine that with a step-by-step narrative structure, you get a very simple mental map: where it starts, where it rises, where it breaks, and how it resolves. In OGMAI, you formalize these forces. You build your story on a canvas, and you build your characters with the matrix: motivation, deep need, fundamental fear, flaw, values, relationships, narrative arc. And if you're making video, the graphic canon on a green screen locks in character consistency. Result, you immediately see what's missing, what's too weak, and what needs to hit harder. In the next episode, we start with the heart, the hero, and what the audience really expects from him. Test the method at OGMAI.net. The audience does not follow a character. They follow an inner tension. A hero is someone who wants something, but above all, someone who risks something. If your hero is nice but flat, look for 3 things: a lack, a price, a contradiction. The lack, what they need to truly live. The price, what they can lose if they fail. The contradiction, what they refuse to see in themselves. Give the hero a difficult decision, not an easy choice, a choice where each option costs. Also give them a limit, a fear, a belief, a loyalty. The audience connects when they recognize a human struggle: courage against fear, truth against comfort, love against control. Quick exercise. Write, my hero wants X, but fears Y. Then, if they fail, they lose Z. Then, their main flaw is then. Their secret wound is... In OGMAI, you fill this in the character matrix: identity and role, psychology and engines, narrative arc, and you immediately see if the hero stands tall. Result, the hero becomes a dramatic force, not just a first name. Next episode, the shadow, the adversity that makes the story impossible to put down. Test the method at OGMAI.net.
The tension and the shadow. Many stories lack tension for a simple reason: the adversity is too weak. The shadow is not necessarily a villain. It is the force that prevents the hero from getting what they want. The shadow can be a person, a rival, a parent, an old friend. It can be a system, a law, a business, a tradition. It can be internal, an addiction, a fear, a shame. For the shadow to work, it needs 3 qualities: credible, active, linked to the hero's flaw. Credible, it has good reasons from its point of view. Active, it acts, it raises the pressure. Linked, it attacks the hero's weak point. Quick exercise. My shadow wants... It is afraid of... It attacks the hero via... If the shadow wins, then In O, you create the shadow as a character. Then you link it to the hero through goals, fears, relationships, conflicts, story and relationships tab, narrative arc tab. Next episode, the mentor. The force that tips the hero at the right moment. Test the method on OGMAI point net.
The mentor. A failed mentor gives advice. A successful mentor changes a trajectory. The mentor is not there to explain the world. He is there to force a step. His role, to provide a tool, to reveal a truth, or to impose a price. Classic mistake. The mentor solves everything in place of the hero. It kills the story. Simple rule. The mentor opens a door. The hero passes through alone. Another rule. The mentor has a flaw. Otherwise, he resembles an instruction manual. Quick exercise. The mentor gives the hero. In exchange, the hero must the mentor is afraid of, the mentor lies about. In OGMAI, you formalize this in relationships. Who gives what, who owes what, and where it shifts in the narrative arc. Next episode, allies and betrayals, the most profitable mechanic. Test the method on OGMAI net.
Allies and betrayal. A story without relationships is often flat. Relationships create turns. An ally is not a friend. It's someone who helps, but costs something. An ally has an agenda, a limit, a temptation. The strongest betrayal is not I am mean, it's I choose my need. Exercise. For each ally, personal goal, red line, temptation, secret. Then, if I push this temptation, what happens? In OGMAI, you put this in story and relationships, key relationships, allies and adversaries, current goals. And you see where the turns come from. Next episode, the dramatic question. The compass of your story. Test the method at OGMAI net.
The dramatic question. Many stories are vague and lack appeal for a very specific reason. This thing is obvious to your audience, but as a writer or screenwriter, we often forget it, because we get lost in our pile of ideas. And what drove us to write becomes a burden. You lack a compass, something your audience can cling to if they are lost, a red thread, a guiding thread, a clear narrative structure, and so the promise is vague. The dramatic question is the question that the story answers at the end. Will they kiss, yes or no? Will the hero die or live, win or lose, save or fail? Here's a quick test. Can you tell your story in one question? If not, the red thread is absent from your story. Here's an exercise. At the end, the hero must do something. If he succeeds, then such and such happens. If he fails, then etc. In OGMAI, you write it as a compass of the narrative arc, and you check that each step serves the answer. Next episode, the tension, relief rhythm, the emotional fuel. Test the method at OGMAI net. Rhythm and tension. The audience does not want constant tension, they want a rhythm. First comes the tension, risk, obstacle, uncertainty. Then comes the relief, victory, breath, closeness. Without relief, one gets tired. Without tension, one gets bored. A common mistake is wanting to resolve too quickly, or delaying without consequence. Here is a useful rule. Every victory comes at a cost, a toll. It must cost something to the hero. Every failure is rewarded with new information, a new learning. And in the case of an epiphany or revelation, a decision must be made. In OGMAI, you visualize these movements at a glance on your canvas. This allows you to adjust scene by scene. Next episode, the point of no return. The moment when the story becomes a destiny. Test the method on OGMAI net.
The point of no return. A soft story keeps a way out. A strong story closes that door. The point of no return is the moment when the hero can no longer return to the life they had before. An act, a loss, a revelation, a pact. It's very simple to verify. If the character can return without paying, it is not a true point of no return. To delve deeper is just as simple. Answer these basic questions. At what moment does the hero cross the line? It can also be phrased more directly. The hero opens the door and suddenly, then what happens? He has opened the door. It's done. He has seen what is behind it. He has already changed because he cannot go back. He cannot erase this from his memory. What will he do? Flee or return? Flee? If he flees, fate will certainly catch up with him, and he will be faced with the same choice or worse. He will have to confront his inner demons. And the shadow, this character, this object, this place, or this event that symbolizes what he fears, inevitably comes to meet him. He cannot escape it. Go back? If he goes back, then it's a whole new adventure. What's behind the door? A dentist, a monster, a teacher, a labyrinth. In OGMAI, you mark the point of no return in the narrative arc, and you connect the stakes and consequences. Next episode, the metamorphosis, the change that satisfies. Test the method at OGMAI.net.
Transformation, the character arc that sticks. The audience retains the transformation. The common mistake is to make it change at the end. From the outside, it looks like cheating or intellectual laziness on the part of the creator, you. The transformation is prepared, either through choices, or through losses, or through consequences. The method is simple. At the beginning, the hero is a victim of a false belief. This belief cracks around the middle of the story. Then comes the climax, the moment when he is forced to make a decision. He absolutely cannot escape it, even if your hero is the worst coward. In the end, he has a new identity, or rather, a new personality. And there, you have an opportunity to restart the story if you wish. The exercise is as follows. Starting belief. I must do as I have always been told. He lives, or rather endures, a trial that breaks this belief. And thus, we arrive at the final truth. I can do it. The hero finally frees himself and becomes himself. Yes, writing stories is about understanding what constitutes humanity. It's a bit like being a coach. In OGMAI, you place this within the character's narrative arc. The revelation, the change, his evolution. In the next episode, we will discuss how to mix structures without breaking your story. Test the method on OGMAI.net.
How to combine story structures without breaking your story. Mixing narrative structures can enrich and transform a simple story into a complex and fascinating epic that will keep your audience on the edge of their seats until the very end. But I must warn you, it can also bring confusion to your narrative and lose your audience. I will reveal to you 3 rules to help you organize and construct, as we are talking about true construction here, a genuine story with twists and exciting subplots. Rule 1, choose a fundamental structure. It is the one and only that will carry the dramatic question. It is the one and only that carries the beginning and the end. Rule 2, it is possible and often advisable to add secondary structures, to develop and enrich the story with 1 or more subplots. Thus, your simple starting idea can develop into a real series or legendary epic. Rule 3, each subplot must absolutely serve the main theme. You can diverge, but make sure it serves the hero's arc. Otherwise, it's just noise, and you lose attraction. In OGMAI, you can easily and visually build the backbone that will support your entire story, no matter how long it is. With a solid red thread, you can safely organize your subplots around it, without losing the thread. In the next episode, we will talk about character depth and the OGMAI character matrix that changes everything in writing. Test the method at OGMAI.net.
Deeper characters, 5 fields that change everything. A beautiful story is above all about deep characters who live or have lived something that makes them attractive. We should want to know more about them, and thus follow them in their adventures. Beware, depth does not rhyme with complexity. Well, not necessarily. A deep character is not complex. They are coherent. Here are 5 simple tips, or rather 5 simple but essential fields that will enrich your characters. These fields are part of OGMAI's character matrix. 1. Motivation, the goal, the desire. 2. Fundamental fear. 3. Their deep need. 4. Their tragic flaw, their wound, their lie. 5. Their values and principles. Once you have defined these 5 fields, every choice of the character becomes logical. I propose an exercise. Write these 5 lines first for the hero, then for the shadow, then for an ally. Next, test a scene. Put the hero face to face with their fear. Make him pay a price. Make him choose a value. In OGMAI, these fields are all in the character matrix that resembles a character identity form. You just need to let yourself be guided to create rich and deep characters that will make your story fascinating. You can also generate a portrait of your characters. This is very handy for a writer who can thus visualize those who populate their imagination. But for a comic book author or a screenwriter, it becomes an extraordinary tool because they can create graphic canons. That is to say, characters on a green background that AIs will easily cut out, then automatically create a storyboard in OGMAI and copy it into an image or video generator to produce a film worthy of the greatest productions. You choose a style: photorealistic, comic book, cyberpunk, pop art, medieval tapestry, film. Then you generate a graphic canon, a reference image on a green background, ready to be given to a video generator, for perfect consistency from one shot to another. Next episode, complete demo on Canvas, from idea to clear shot. Test the method at OGMAI Net.
From idea to a full story plan on a canvas, let's take a simple and very classic idea on Earth. A person wants to escape their current life. Step 1, the dramatic question. Will they succeed in leaving, yes or no? Step 2, filling in the hero's matrix. Motivation, deep need, fundamental fear, tragic flaw, values. Step 3, the shadow. Who prevents them from leaving and why? Step 4, the point of no return, the act that opens and closes the door forever. Step 5, relationships, allies, adversaries, secrets, debts. Step 6, the narrative arc, initial desire, central conflict, revelation, evolution, stakes. Step 7, visual identity. Choose a style, generate the portrait, then generate a graphic canon, an image on a green background, ready for a video generator to maintain the perfect consistency of the character. In OGMAI, you assemble everything on the canvas. You see the structure, you see the dramatic forces, you see the relationships, and you write without fog. Write your success now at OGMAI Net.
I will now talk to you about a fundamental element of the OGMAI Narrative Studio, which is its library. If the canvas is the workshop, the library is the reserve of tools, sparks, and tried and true plans. It's the place you go when you want to move faster, when you feel that the framework of your story needs to be solidified, or when you need a boost to reignite inspiration. In OGMAI, the library allows you to draw upon 3 essential things. First, complete narrative structures like ready-to-use plots. These time-tested plots provide you with a clear thread, progression, stages, and rhythm. Next, archetypes to build characters that have a specific function in the story. Hero, mentor, ally, adversary, shadow, shapeshifter, messenger, and many more. Finally, ideas, triggers, situations, stakes, dilemmas, symbolic objects, places, promises of narrative. What to feed your universe without starting from scratch. The most important thing is that you do not copy a recipe. You choose, you adapt, you combine. A structure can become your framework, an archetype can become a unique character, and an idea can trigger a scene that didn't exist a minute before. Everything is designed for you to remain the author while gaining a building power that would have taken you weeks to achieve alone. In practical terms, you take an element from the library and bring it onto your canvas. It becomes a map or a set of maps that you can edit, rewrite, detail, connect to your scenes, your characters, your locations, and reorganize in the timeline. Your story becomes a coherent, visible, modifiable, and evolving system. And when you hesitate, OGMAI offers you suggestions. New character, ideas for variations, enrichments, development options, possible connections between your elements. What the library really changes is the feeling of being stuck. You are no longer facing a blank page, you are facing a guided playground where every choice can trigger a new path. You move forward with solid markers, never losing your freedom. It's often the episode that we place at the end because it's the cherry on top. Once you understand the canvas, the framework, the maps, and the coherence, the library becomes your accelerator, your booster. It helps you write faster, more accurately, and with greater scope. And now the best test remains the simplest. Open the library, in OGMAI choose a structure, an archetype, or an idea, place it on your canvas, and watch what happens. You will feel your story start to move.
Value your works and creations. You create a work, a short story, a novel, a comic book, a webtoon, a screenplay, a narrative podcast, a role-playing game. You put your time, your style, your soul into it. You can share it for free or make a living by charging your audience. All you have to do is share a link with your community. In OGMAI, your work becomes an easy project to publish and share with the largest audience. You assemble your scenes, your characters, your plots. You find your thread in a second, and when your work is ready to leave the workshop, you decide exactly how it exists for others, with the peace of mind of an author who maintains control over their universe. And above all, you set your own prices. No imposed prices. No one-size-fits-all model. You can offer a free reading to attract readers, then a paid version for those who want to go further. You can test, adjust, and evolve your offering over time, according to your audience and your ambitions. Your work can then travel, published online, accessible everywhere, without borders. Your story can be read in Montreal, Paris, Mexico City, Tokyo on the same day. Because the whole world is a potential audience, OGMAI is a narrative studio for creating, organizing, finalizing, and then giving real life to your works at your pace, at your price, with your signature.